Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question comes to us from the True Stories collection, as in, it actually happened at an event that I was actually judging. Amy wants to cast Break the Ice against Nick's Gemstone Caverns. Is this possible? Okay, for this question, I actually want to build up to the answer starting from a couple of simpler examples. So I think it should be pretty uncontroversial to say that you would be able to hit this Coral Atoll. Could this land produce colorless? Of course. Activating its ability would produce one colorless mana, and some extra mana. But we definitely were able to produce colorless mana with this land, so that counts. In the same way, you should be able to destroy this Untaidake, the Cloud Keeper, because even though it adds extra mana, and even though that has a rider on how that mana can be spent, it still does add colorless mana. Another important fact that we'll need is that colorless is not a color of mana. This means that it would never be possible to break a command tower, even if its commander was Kozilek himself. On the other hand, colorless is a type of mana, meaning that Reflecting Pool would be fair game as long as its controller had another land that could tap for colorless, like Mishra's Workshop. Now, to get to some of the more advanced cases, we'll need to take a look at the actual rule that formalizes what type of mana a land could produce, and we see some very interesting consequences of how it's worded. For example, it sees all the abilities on the card, even ones that aren't printed on it, so a Lithoform Blight could make any land vulnerable. On the other hand, if you had an Echoing Deeps that was a copy of a forest, you could not break that because the copy effect would overwrite all of the normal abilities that Echoing Deeps has. Another interesting case is this City of Shadows. It can be targeted if it has any number of storage counters on it, but if it doesn't, then activating its ability will not cause any mana to be added to your mana pool, so it would not be able to tap for colorless in that case. And finally, we can see that replacement effects that modify what you're getting out of a land's mana abilities are taken into account. Therefore, if you had a Damping Sphere, then you would be able to target this Azorius Chancery. With all that said, we're ready to tackle the scenario from the original problem statement. If there are no luck counters on Gemstone Caverns, you can target it, because the ability of Gemstone Caverns will produce colorless mana as required. On the other hand, if there is a luck counter on it, that ability adds 1 mana of any color, which, as we said before, does not include colorless. Therefore, it would not be possible to destroy it with Break the Ice. How lucky! And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.